Good morning, family. Ron Holland here, host of The Weekend Show, Community Voices on Praise 100.9 and Old School 105.3. Like many of you, I had an opportunity to see the film, the movie, What the Health. And so I have been inspired to make a transition from a meat-based, sugar-based, processed food-based diet to a vegan lifestyle or a plant-based lifestyle. So I have in the studio with me today Jasiatic Anderson. She is a food coach and a plant-based chef. So she is here today to talk a little bit about how you can make that transition from a food-based diet that entails meat, sugar, and processed foods to a vegan lifestyle or a plant-based lifestyle. And while she is getting some stuff prepared, I'm going to fire off some questions. Jasiatic, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This looks absolutely delicious. You mentioned something about guacamole. Yes. I've never had guacamole before.
I can't believe that.
No, not at all.
You don't like Mexican food?
Huh?
Do you like Mexican food?
Yeah, tacos. But anyway, have you had an opportunity to see the film What the Hell?
I did. I've actually received lots of clients because of What the Hell. I think they did something a little different in terms of tapping our community in particular.
It's scaring a lot of folks, I have to be honest with you, particularly centered around chicken, beef, the whole 9 yards. What are your thoughts about that?
Fear is never a good idea.
Yeah.
But a little caution never hurt anyone when it comes to cleaning up your diet.
Yeah, now you've been a plant-based chef for quite some time, and you haven't eaten meat in 20 plus years. Yes. Tell our audience a little bit about why you made that transition.
I made the transition a long time ago. Like you said, it's been probably about 23 years. And I just started to learn what they were putting into our foods and our communities, and I was like, I got to do something. Yeah, now one of the scariest things is the hormones that are injected in some of these animals. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that?
They're dangerous. There's lots of things that, particularly in the U.S., that we're allowed to eat that is in our everyday diets that are just very dangerous for us.
Now, you don't allow your children to eat meat or sugar. Now, how did you pull that off? Because
they eat a little sugar.
Oh, a little bit of sugar? Okay.
And I think that's the thing that What the Health did a good job talking about, is that we always think of the carbohydrates and the sugars and how dangerous they are for us. And we just kind of skip over meat. We say, meat is protein, it's healthy for us, we can... it gives us what we need, but we don't really talk about what the implications are for that. But they've never had meat.
Now, what are you making for us today?
I'm making a little guacamole, and the reason I chose to make this is because it was quick, and also it's just something that you can kind of add whatever you want to add to it and just make it vibrant, put a lot of colors in there.
Now, I see guacamole, I see corn, you have a red pepper, you have onions there. Is that an onion or?
That's garlic.
That's garlic? See, now I don't know the difference.
Of course you do. A little pink Himalayan salt. We're going to put a little red pepper in there, and then we're just going to stuff it back.
Now, you said pink Himalayan salt?
Sure,
Did you have to go to the Himalayas is that available to us at the regular grocery store?
Yeah, it's available at the regular grocery store, sometimes specialty shops, sometimes discount stores, like Marshalls or TJ Maxx. I don't know if I can say those on. But, you can pretty much get it anywhere. Maybe not a regular grocery store, but definitely some of the health food stores.
Now, one of the major challenges in making that transition is the cost factor as well as the preparation issue. Because a lot of families, of course, it's probably a little cheaper to buy a processed food as opposed to actually going in and buying a bunch of vegetables, and then the time to actually prepare it, particularly when people are coming home from work. Talk a little bit about how you navigate around that.
Meal prep is very important, and I think a lot of people are getting into meal prep. One of the great things about being on a plant-based diet is that the time that you can allow something to actually be in your fridge, or that you may have to eat compared to something that could have dairy or meat in it is actually elongated. So that's one of the beautiful things about a plant-based diet. The other thing is that when you're eating whole foods, you can just pick up the food and eat it. It doesn't have to be very complicated. Something like this, you spoke about like tacos earlier, even if you have just a tortilla shell and your protein, which could even be beans, or you know, and then you just layer. You put your lettuce in, you put your spinach, you know, make a little cashew cheese is what I would do.
Cashew cheese?
Yeah, just throw the cashews in the food processor, a little lemon juice, a little cumin, a little garlic. So many easy, quick things you can do with a plant-based diet that doesn't take you forever. So whereas, you know, you're not waiting for meat to thaw, you're not, you know, going in and having to tenderize and season and wait. So, yeah.
Now, what is a transition period like? I mean, if I were, you know, I have to be honest, the film actually scared me a bit, and I went on a plant-based diet for 2 days. I'm just going to be honest, okay? And in fact, I got a whole bunch of canned food, and I put it in a bowl, and then I mixed everything, I put it on the stove, and it turned out okay, but it doesn't look like what you have today.
That's not going to sustain you. And that's why, you know, one of the services that I offer is vegan food coaching or plant-based food coaching. And, you know, sometimes you just need a little help. Yeah. Because those canned foods, that's not going to do it. Yeah. The transition period, you should be patient with yourself. I always tell people, be very patient. I think a lot of people are getting very overwhelmed from what the hell. And, you know, just for the general effort to just eat cleaner and better, I hear a lot of people saying, like, what can you eat? There's so many things you can eat. There's so many ways to adjust what you eat, even if it's just, you know, going to local gardeners, going to your own community garden. There's so many ways to approach this thing where, you know, a lot of times you'd be surprised. You go to your community gardens and these people, like, they're trying to give the food away. They don't have anywhere for it to go.
Yeah, and that is a challenge for our community, particularly because we're so used to shopping at the big box stores as opposed to going out to these farmers markets where all of the food is fresh. So talk a little bit about that experience of actually walking through the aisles of a farmers market and actually choosing some of the healthy alternatives to what we have in the stores.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wonderful thing to do, like on a Saturday morning, just to get out with your family and go to a farmer's market. And, you know, one of the things that I like to do too is go to some of the community-based farmers markets. And, you know, I tell people sometimes you have to go towards the end. They're trying to give that food away, you know. And, you know, these wonderful heirloom vegetables that people have passed down in their families. And it just gives you so much variety. It gives you joy knowing that you can prepare something that, you know, you wouldn't normally get in a regular grocery store. And, you know, your dollar goes so much farther. It really does.
Now, I have to tell you, that looks delicious. We're about to close out. But if folks really want to make that transition and would like to utilize some of the services that you provide, how can you be reached?
They can find me at eatyourbliss.com, any of my social media at eatyourbliss. So EATYOUR Bliss, BLISS.
Okay, so I am looking at something that looks actually delicious, but am I supposed to eat this part or just what's inside?
No, we're just snacking this for aesthetics.
That's aesthetic.
Spoon some on your plate. You can get some on your plate.
This looks real good.
And then we're gonna open these corn chips.
Okay. All right. Well, food coach, plant-based chef, Jasiatic Anderson. Again, thank you so much for coming to the Radio 1 studio here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I certainly appreciate it. That's it, folks, for our Community Voices video segment. I'm Ron Holland, host of Community Voices on Old School 105.3 and Praise 100.9. This looks really, really good. Okay, let me go ahead and try this. Okay. Here we go. All right.
Wait, you need a chip.
Oh my God, this is good. I've never had guacamole before.
Wow.
Oh man.
And did you see how quick we did it?
Yeah.
So quick.